Good afternoon, doctor and everyone. We are from Group 4, and today I'm going to present about our study about the influence of ChatGPT on students' learning performance. The problem statement of our study is the increasing use of ChatGPT among university students has raised questions regarding its effectiveness in improving learning performance. Although many students use ChatGPT regularly for academic purpose, there is limited evidence regarding the relationship between ChatGPT usage and learning outcomes. Therefore, this study aims to examine the influence of ChatGPT on students' learning performance. The objective of this study is firstly to determine the relationship between the frequency of ChatGPT usage and students' learning performance. Secondly, to compare the learning performance between students who use ChatGPT frequently and those who use ChatGPT infrequently. Thirdly, to compare the learning performance among students with low, moderate, and high levels of ChatGPT. The non-parametric method that we used for this study is firstly Spearman rank correlation, number two Mann-Whitney U test, number three Kruskal-Wallis H test.
First, I will present the Spearman rank correlation test. This test was used to determine the relationship between ChatGPT usage and student learning performance. The null hypothesis states that there is no significant relationship, while the alternative hypothesis states there is a significant relationship. We rank both variables, which are ChatGPT usage score and learning performance score. Based on the calculation, the total rank difference square is 1099.5. Then using the Spearman formula, we obtain the correlation coefficient R sub s equal to 0.75539. We compare this value with the all critical value at different significance level, and the calculated value was higher than all critical value. Therefore, we rejected the null hypothesis. This means there is a significant positive relationship between ChatGPT usage and student learning performance. In conclusion, students who use ChatGPT more frequently tend to show better learning performance.
Next, for our study, we use the Mann-Whitney test to compare the learning performance between two independent groups. Students with frequent usage N1 equal to 16 and infrequent usage N2 equals to 14 of ChatGPT. Based on our analysis, we calculated the final test statistic U1 equals to 41.5. To check for significance, we compared this value against the critical value at three different alpha levels. At alpha 0.01, the critical value is 38, so we fail to reject the null hypothesis. However, at both alpha 0.02 and alpha 0.05, our calculation U of 41.5 is less than or equal to the critical value of 43 and 50. According to the Mann-Whitney decision rule, because our U value is lower than the critical value at 2% and 5% levels, we reject hash null. Therefore, we can conclude that there is a significant difference in the learning performance distribution between frequent and infrequent ChatGPT users.
To obtain our third objective, which is to determine whether the learning performance differs according to the level of ChatGPT usage, we use the Kruskal-Wallis hash test. The rank sums for the low, moderate, and high usage groups were 73.5, 164, and 227.5 respectively, with 10 students in each group. After performing the calculations, we obtained a test statistic of H equals to 15.457. This value was compared with the critical values for 2 degrees of freedom, which are 5.99 at alpha 0.05, 7.38 at alpha 0.025, and 9.21 at alpha 0.01. Since the test statistics is greater than all three critical values, we reject the null hypothesis.
Moving on to our discussion, why we use the non-parametric methods is because our data is ordinal, and using Spearman rank correlation, Mann-Whitney U test, and Kruskal-Wallis H, we found that Spearman rank correlation with a coefficient 0.755, and we conclude that the frequent ChatGPT users has a tendency to have a positive learning outcomes. And for the Mann-Whitney U test, we divided the significant difference between frequent and infrequent ChatGPT users, and this shows that the frequent ChatGPT users has an effect on their learning performance. And for Kruskal-Wallis H, we divided between the significant groups between low, moderate, and high usage group, and where the tendency, where the more they use ChatGPT and the more they benefit they have. In conclusion, ChatGPT has a supporting role in affecting their learning performance. Thank you.
Overall, these findings help us better understand the role of ChatGPT in supporting students' learning performance. Thank you.